I'm back, and I hope every one of you are enjoying your Labor Day weekend. Labor Day, one of the most important holidays of the year from my perspective. And of course, it is the election season, it is a presidential election year. So things are very, very partisan in all directions. Um, well, recently, August 30th, there was an online convention for the People's Party. And for some of you who are not familiar with the People's Party, is basically a coalition of progressives that feel like they've been had by the two-party system, something I can relate to really, really well. And they're calling for a need for a new political party. And as usual, I'm excited by the latest attempt to create a third party that's going to go and finally take on the corrupt nature of the two-party system once and for all. And I hope they do. But and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but yeah, I've seen it before. You see it every so often. I would say probably every decade and a half. There's always some kind of a new yearning for a third party, and it kind of exists across the political spectrum. Um, so there there you have it. Of course, as I said, it is an election year, and of course, like I've been saying since February, since this channel started, and I am really looking forward to the end of this election, so wouldn't have to keep bitching and moaning about how Bernie Sanders had been cheated by the corporate Democrats, the DNC, the Hillary Clinton people, the mainstream media. But here's the thing: the DNC, the mainstream media, the corporate Democrats. They cheated Bernie Sanders twice, 2016 and 2020. And it's not that they just cheated Bernie Sanders, the man. They cheated us, all of us. Anybody who cares about changing the corrupt nature of American politics, we've been cheated again. Well, and of course, the corporate Democrats won. President Barack Obama made some phone calls, and Jim Clyburn of South Carolina um, played his hand at this, and I know that the Hillary Clinton people were very happy what happened, but they convinced the corporate Democratic candidates who were kind of competing against each other in the 2020 primaries to drop out, and that's what they did. I don't know if they encouraged Elizabeth Warren to remain in the race to hurt Bernie Sanders in Massachusetts or not. I don't know, but in theory, that is what happened. And Bernie Sanders was basically, you know, I mean, defeated a second time. But here's the thing: while Bernie Sanders looked defeated, the fact that they went to all this trouble to go after Bernie Sanders means that the left is winning some public relation battles within the Democratic Party, and these corporate Democrats know they got a little problem with the left. You know, yeah, they're gonna most of them gonna go get in line and vote for Biden, but what happens after this election? Because I see two things happening: that the new breed of social democrats headed by Bernie Sanders and company um, continue fighting the good fight, or that the corporate Democrats have pretty much set the agenda, and that it's no use for the left to try to do uprising in the Democratic Party. That we honestly don't have any place to go, and we're going to continue on that, on the route the Democratic Party's been since the days when Bill Clinton took over. Not that there weren't any problems prior, but when Bill and Hillary Clinton took over is when the problems started, and it's going to remain until that consensus is finally defeated, and until Bill and Hillary Clinton are finally gone. So we got Biden versus Trump. You, just the even the thought of it just makes me nauseous in the stomach, and on August 30th, there was an online convention for the People's Party. It's been something that's been in the makings for years. Um, and it was nice seeing messages and great shout outs coming from Jimmy Dore and Cornel West, Nina Turner, Jesse Ventura, and other progressives. It was just nice hearing their messages, and it's very encouraging. But I'm gonna tell you, um, as a student of history and somebody who loves history, fascinated by the past in a lot of ways, probably a little too much so at times. Um, all this talk about a third party, there's been attempts before in the past. I mean, there's been attempts of various people parties that's from the late 19th century on to this day. Um, there was the Progressive Party, which was the Bull Moose Party of Teddy Roosevelt in 1912. In 1924, there was the Progressive Party of Robert La Follette. If you don't know who Robert La Follette was, he was actually a Republican senator from Wisconsin who actually founded the Progressive magazine, which still exists to this day. I call it the best news publication in the country. Um, and there was the Henry Wallace campaign in 1948, not to be confused with the asshole from Alabama, George Wallace, but Vice President Henry Wallace, who was considered too far left for Roosevelt, kind of dumped Henry Wallace and put in Harry Truman. But Henry Wallace ran as a Progressive Party candidate in 1948. In 1968, the Peace and Freedom Party had a national campaign with Eldridge Cleaver, followed by the People's Party in 1972 with Benjamin Spock. In the 1980s, it was the short-lived Citizens Party. There was the New Alliance Party. In the 1990s, there was a newly formed Labor Party. There was the New Party now, which is pretty much the Working Families Party. And even some people saw things positive within the Reform Party. Of course, they are not exactly left wing, but I mean, there are some themes where it kind of fits in. Um, and let's not forget, with my politics, the old Socialist Party of America, which is probably the most important of all of these third party movements, because the Socialist Party of America basically fits into what America should have been if there was a political party that could have been kind of like what the British Labour Party, was and is in England, or the Social Democrats in Germany, Sweden, and the Socialist Party in France or Spain. I mean, a center left party that actually calls for democratic socialism. Um, and we're yet to have that. But the Socialist Party of America was like the closest thing we ever had to that, and it was for all intents and purposes the third largest party in the country, roughly until Franklin Roosevelt decided to steal some of its moderate ideas, and basically American socialism by the 1930s was watered down into FDR's New Deal. Um, but anyway, I digress. The Socialist Party USA still runs candidates to this day. Um, I'm thinking of people like Frank Zeidler and the late David McReynolds, at least Frank Zeidler too, um, along with their political ancestors like Eugene Debs, Norman Thomas. So there you have it. We've had several attempts at third parties, and I do hope that the People's Party becomes a force to be reckoned with, and we're going to see how things, how things evolve. But I like the idea. I like the very idea of a mass party for those of us who are progressive that feel like we've been kind of crapped on by the Democratic Party in particular. Expect nothing from the Republican Party, but we should expect better from the Democratic Party. And the Democrats failed to deliver as far as what they can do for the people who wants to see positive change. And the People's Party takes care of issues like class divisions and the income inequality, the economics, and offer solutions to improve race relations, where we can truly be an egalitarian society, and a foreign policy based on peace initiatives as opposed to another attempt to invade another country either through military means like preemptive military strikes or through yeah, economic sanctions and embargoes, or covert actions. Um, so such a party is needed in a country like the United States, where the Overton window shifts significantly too far to the right for my comfort. And so I hope that this People's Party becomes a rip roaring success, but this remains to be seen. So anyway, I they have my support, and good luck seeing what happens, and we'll take it from there. If you like what you heard, you can press like or dislike if you don't like what you just heard just now. You can comment either way. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to say if you got something very dear to your chest you like to share with the world. I mean, use a platform and utilize it, because we're all the muckrakers of our time. And as I said, like, dislike, comment, share, uh, do your own thing as far as creating a platform. And please, please subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe. And until next time, peace, and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024. And no, I wasn't kidding. I was not kidding when I said that.